What it do, tube of you? Welcome to Debate the Facts. Tonight, joining us, we have a motherfucker among men, Mr. Jimmy Lou, joining me.
Yay! Hi, guys. Thank you for having me on. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Sorry, you were saying something about a motherfucker about men, something like that. I'm sorry, I interrupted you. I was rude. Please.
I'm the host, Toxic Taylor. Joining me, we have Ray Bay and the Battle Kitty. That's a little homosexual cat. And of course, Mr. Jimmy Lou. How you doing, Jimmy?
I'm doing good. I wanted to just say that that description, when I read it and heard it the first time, like, you got me right in the feels. And it really got to me because, like, I remember being a kid and my teacher would ask me, "What do you want to be when you grow up, little Jimmy?" And I would tell them every single time, "I want to be a motherfucker among men." And you made that come true. Thank you, Taylor. I really appreciate that. It gets me right here. Thank you.
Well, we're happy to have you.
Thank you.
So tell us a little bit about yourself. When did you start getting into annihilating theist apologists?
Well, I don't think I really annihilate anyone. I'll be honest with you. I told them right at the beginning, like this is a good example that they're more read up on philosophy than me. I'm happy to concede a lot of stuff because I don't ever consider myself, the tastiest cookie in the package, if you know what I mean. But it's for me, like, to be able to exist and to be able to function, we shouldn't have to be a fucking genius to make our way in this world, and we shouldn't have to be under like some kind of fucked up fear because we're not following someone's way of thinking. So that's where I kind of come from. I keep my arguments pretty simple, and I keep my ideas pretty easy to follow. And what you see, and I've noticed with a lot of Muslims especially, well, when you're trying to promote a difficult ideology, you have to, what I have discovered is a great word, is be convoluted. Does anyone know what that word means? Because I looked it up. I wanted to make sure that I was saying this right, guys. So convoluted means, especially of an argument, story, or sentence, extremely complex and difficult to follow. Also, technically intricately folded, twisted, or coiled, which means it's basically no different than any other fucking con does. They twist a story and they take you on a trip, and before you know what you asked for, they're selling you on something you never knew you needed. So
I'm going to try to sell you on my religion today. I have a religion, and if I can be given the opportunity, I want to sell you on. I'm polytheist. I'm saying the Abrahamic religions allow for polytheism based on what we and say gods are.
Sure.
Abrahamic religions allow for polytheism according to what we would think a god is. Abrahamic religions allow for polytheism. It does. I know.
You're welcome to share with. I am happy to share ideas and have a conversation and to kind of talk about the EA show and get to know you guys, because we can't be
mean to Justin. I love him. I told him I not make mean of him. I'm gonna defend him. But this is what I want to say: like a soul, based upon like how is the best you could be in your life? Like, can you be a powerful like identity like on your inner self? Can you be like a very mature, like have like a higher like enlightened state of maturity and like enlightenment, like not caring, but it's also about like being able to care and like being intentional. Can you be so intentional with?
Okay.
No. Oh, yeah. Matthew's gone. Oh. So we meet again, Matthew. It's just a short answer for what he's asking. Yeah,
bring back the Battle Kitty.
I'm good. Like we can go on. He can ask me later on. We could get into it later.
Okay. So speaking of which,
yes.
How was Justin's show? And well, first, are you drinking Coke from a mayonnaise jar?
Okay, so true story. This is from my days of being a single father, and being a single father, you make a dollar stretch. So these are from tomato sauce, and they're mason jars, and they work great as drinking glasses. And also in the summer, because I'm a big gardener, I put banana peels in this, and I fill it up with water, and it makes banana peel water, and it's just like it's like it's like giving your plants like steroids, but naturally. And it's just weed became legal in Ontario, and I grew like 7.5 feet tall plants. Like no shit. Jimmy doesn't know much, but I know how to make a fucking garden grow. That's all I'm gonna say. I know how to make stuff. So this is just Coke in a glass. Sorry to take over your show and just a ramble, but yes, just a mason jar.
Oh, that's all right.
So Justin's show, I want to just say, and I told him at the beginning of the show, he had me on. We've talked a couple times after he became a Muslim, and I reached out to him. We actually talked on my lunch break one time, and I will commend him that he had me on his show, and he knew kind of like I wasn't going to roll over. I think you saw it, Taylor, the one day, just me fucking going at all of them. I didn't give a shit. And, but God, they just like, they're trying to argue, like in my head and what I present, like just woo. It's like going out in the playground and you're talking to children. Well, I have a magic spell stick that can make you go boom. And then just they point their stick at you and they're like, boom, boom, boom. And you're like, okay. And then like I'm trying to present like real stuff that we can all agree on, and that's too much for them. So
That's what I've been noticing.
So have you noticed the two things I've been noticing about their conversations? They employ two major fallacies. Number one, with my conversation, they straw man me the entire time. Now, if people don't understand what a straw man is at home, that means when you're arguing with someone and they take what you say, but they change it and they use different words, and then they change what you're trying to say to something else, and then they argue that. Did they ever once? My question was, why do theists think that we're accountable to understand how the universe works? And they always said, well, we don't know how everything works. No one fucking said that, dumb. Like you guys, that was the only time I got mad, because it's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, you can't address, so that's what they do. They straw man your position. Then they do what's called a red herring, where they do a distraction. And then they start arguing that. So instead of, like, you're presenting them this, and then they coming over here, and they're like, oh, what about this? What about this? And then, but this, and like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, I'm over here in the kitchen having dinner, and you're outside doing whatever. Like, we're not even in the same park. But they did that the entire conversation. And I find that when anyone gets them into, like, a logical corner that they can't back out of, they employ one of those techniques, or then they go to what is it? The exact words? It's to something about professional, like when you, I can't think of it off the top of my head. When you something to authority, when you appeal to authority, when you use authority as your, like, as an argument, like that's what they do all the time. Well, all the scholars agree with me. Well, what are you supposed to do with that? Like, so I'm just like, okay, every time they do that, and when you're arguing and debating people, when they start insulting you too, that you know they've lost. That's why you see me smile all the time. Like when they start like insulting me, like they say, oh, you don't know anything about philosophy. Okay, I guess I don't, but whatever. That has nothing to do with the conversation. That's not part of the argument. That's not the question. You're not addressing it. So they never once addressed it. I watched that interview 3 times, and they never addressed it. And did you not notice that they always said I interrupted?
Yeah, they did that a whole. That was one of the things that was one of the things that weirded me the fuck out. Is they did a whole lot of fucking interrupting, and they were telling you that you were interrupting, and I was like, what? Wait, what? Where? Where? You didn't even answer the man's question clearly. Justin said yes. Homie said no. Homie said no. Justin said yes. It was just fucking weird. I was just like, and then he just started going off into his own little fucking thing, the scholars this and shit, and then was calling you philosophically inept and all this other shit. I was just like, this is the same shit Justin hit us with.
Yeah, okay, good. I was saying, like, I can interrupt too. Whenever I interrupt, they tell me to be quiet because the adults are talking. I'm trying to talk in the debates, and they would tell me to be quiet. The adults are talking, and they never let me talk. And they never let me on their show. Justin would never let me on his show. I'm saying like a main event. He let me on after parties, but like he would never let me have a main show. Like say this is Magic Knob or this is whoever I am, Super Heart or my angel name, Angel Renarsi. He never let me be a guest. I mean, he's empathetic. I am a polytheist. You would think he went a polytheist. He said talks about podcast with me, but he never talked me on his show. He never got to.
Did you kick him off again?
Exactly. You know, shit like that, where man just comes in, starts talking over a motherfucker and shit, you know. Sit him right in the back. Shoot.
You guys are great. Oh, God. That's what's great
It's
about this
vanity. Just like they said. We got to throw the battle kid to come in and just fucking take over every single time.
Just talking about whatever.
You take the show, you take the whole fucking show. He'll fold his whole body into that box so you can see everything his body's doing with his toes, everything, and just start rambling.
Yo,
that's like my daughter. I'll be having a conversation with my wife, like we're like having an important conversation. It's just like my shoe's red. It's red. Look at that, Daddy. Look at. Matthew's like polytheism. Come on, something splat. Abraham.
When I die,
you're
gonna be dead for me. But I don't know, maybe. But when I die, I'm still gonna be able to access people if they really know me. I'm gonna come back and talk to people. That's why it's like you're powerful soul. I don't care about everybody, but like when I care about something, I can come back and talk to people. I'm gonna be a soul. I can come back from the dead and talk to people.
This is Jimmy's interview, Matthew, not yours.
It's okay. He's a nice guy.
Oh fuck.
You're a nice guy, Matthew. Can I ask you something? Because honestly, Taylor, I think you know way more about Islam than I do. I'm kind of ignorant about it. And what's a hadith? Like you kept calling them a hadith? What was it?
Hadithers.
A hadither. What is that?
Well, the hadithers, the Sunnis, right?
I've heard of the Sunnis. Yes,
they follow these hadiths and stuff, and they're all kinds of crazy superstitions and stuff. They sound, it's like Matthew. See, it's like this is what they look like in real life.
Yeah, okay, you let me on the show.
Not that I wanted you to say anything, but like they literally have hadiths there's hadiths that tell them how to take shit. There's hadiths that tell them how to wash their hands, like right hand before left hand, right? Like to jump, like don't step on cracks. It's got all this crazy shit in these hadiths, and there's hundreds of thousands of them because they don't believe, like they say they're Muslims, but they don't believe that the Quran is the complete word. They said there's the Sunnah, right? Because the Quran said to follow the Prophet and his Sunnah, and that the Sunnah means like the way he's doing things, you know. But those are clearly dictated in the Quran, and they don't think that the Quran's specific enough, so they go off of like, well, how did he take his shit? Well, how did he bone his wife? Well, how did he react to people in his day-to-day life and shit like that? And they refer to this source known as hadiths, which are old wives' tales and shit. And that's where we get these guys. They believe like the 72 virgin, all the weird shit that like you get Al-Qaeda, you get Ahmadiyya, you get Shias, you get all these fucking weird things from these hadiths. Yeah, and like the Prophet's wife was 6 years old. Most of them are disrespectful to the Islamic religion.
Social behaviors.
They have enchanted items, magic carpets, forget cloak and shit, like a stick of truth. So yeah, the majority of these guys calling themselves Muslim follow these Hadith rituals.
That's wild.
Yeah, just like a whole book.
Yeah, a lot of the things that you might have heard about
Got a
Islam.
link to a PDF here. Boop. I'm gonna share that.
Who is
in the
that?
chat.
Oh, is there some? Oh, there's people. There's John. Mr. John.
So yeah,
So there's people watching right now, eh? That's nice.
yeah, there's people watching.
That's good. No, that's just, it blows my mind. It blows my mind when people like buy into superstition, and like I get it, like, because you know I followed it for many years, and I think that's where I get my passion from. Because they can say whatever the fuck they want, and that's why I think I do okay in debates. It's just I don't give a shit if you think I'm an idiot. I really don't. I don't know why people like. Why people in debates? Oh, you're an idiot. Oh, you're just so goddamn stupid. Oh, who cares? I don't give a fuck what you think about me.
No.
It doesn't matter. Like, and when people forget that, like they just like they resort to it so easily, and it's too easy. But you don't even have to present really smart arguments. You just gotta present like easy logic. So
That is one lady was sitting there talking shit, was doing trick or treating with my niece, with my nephews and whatnot, was getting her costumes, and you know she started talking about how Halloween trick or treaters bring out the devil and shit, and I'm like walking right on past her, and she was like motioning in our direction. I'm like, ma'am, shut the fuck up and mind your goddamn business. Like, you know, go about your fucking life. Go about your fucking life. At least that's what I wish I had done.
Oh,
But I mean, like. You know, it's just like, yo, like, let people live their fucking lives. Why you gotta be all fucking superstitious and shit and be talking shit about people? That's what they do. They do a lot of criticism. They always talking their little their mad smash and shit, and just be like, go about your life. Live your fucking life. Do you? Here in the United States, we don't fucking do the Hadith bullshit and the Sharia law nonsense. We here in the United States, we let bygones be bygones, and everybody live their fucking lives. At least that's what I like to think.
That's the thing, because Islam, they have like a religion, and that's what I had a guy Quran only come on my show, and that's what I asked him. Well, you're Quran only Islam. That's controversial. He said, "No, I'm a Muslim," and it became clear to me that, you know, by my comments and the people responded, that they were treating him like he was, you know, like the Puritans in England, or like they wanted to burn him at the stake for that. But he wants to practice his religion unadulterated.
That's the problem. This is like I don't want to attack Muslims. Like, they're people. We're all just people, really, just trying to live our lives. But the religion itself is terrifying. Like, I'm sorry, like, point to one Islam-run country that like has like freedoms and treats women nicely, and gay people have rights, and people could just live their life. Like, it doesn't happen. Like, and I'm not trying to be prejudice, but it just doesn't. Like, do we not all want to just live our fucking lives? Like, I think that's all I want. That's all I'm advocating for people to live their lives, believe what they want. Like, and the thing is too, Ray and Taylor, I don't try to argue against God. I don't really, at the end of the day, give a shit if you believe in God. That's not my issue. My issue is people pushing this toxic mentality that like you have to pick something or else you're gonna fucking burn in hell for eternity. That right there, that's what I fight for. That's what I'm passionate about, because I lived in fear of that shit for 20 years, and I wasted years, not years, but thousands of hours on my knees, hundreds of hours prostate, like tears, worrying myself goddamn sick that I was never good enough, or worrying if I made the right choice, or like, and honestly, if we're all honest with ourselves, that's where I come from, is a place of humbleness. Like, what the fuck do I know? What the fuck does anyone know? I've seen a lot of smart people all advocate for stuff that they don't really have any way of knowing for sure. Smarter people than myself, and they all disagree with each other. And so, what are we left with? Right here.
Facts.
So not like I'm just, and I don't have to come from it as a place of arrogance. I could tell anyone, like, you guys are probably all smarter than me. I'm happy to concede that, and I conceded that to them too.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jimmy. I appreciate that. I'm definitely smarter than you. Yeah.
Well,
Wow.
you guys are smart people, and you're funny. Funny people are always fucking.
I will take that compliment.
And handsome too. God, it's just, you make me want to believe in God because it's too perfect.
I like to tell. I'm going to start telling some atheists and whatnot because I'm an atheist myself. I'm going to start telling them I'm a faith-based atheist, like as in normalizing.
Not an internet atheist.
yeah, not an internet atheist. Not one of those. Oh, faith-based. I like to deal with people as individuals. But you know, there was this question in this Facebook group, normalizing atheism. And it was, I forgot what the question was. It was something about creation or some shit like that. I forgot what the fuck it was. Here, let me see if I can find it. But, you know, I mentioned faith, and I see that atheists do it quite a bit. They will take a word, just like with Islam, with the Hadithers especially, specifically. Let's say the Hadithers. They will take the word and they'll try to apply their own meaning to it, or they'll be like, "Well, it only means this," and I'm like, "No, I'm the other part of the definition." You know, what was it? Now, I kind of like the troll and whatnot. But that's just me.
Well, we're all guilty of it. We're all guilty of not like informing ourselves and having our own biases and not looking into stuff properly. You know, we're all guilty of it. You know?
Oh, hell yeah.
And I think that's what I was saying to you guys earlier. What makes your show so special is that you're an atheist, Taylor's a theist,
and I'm a potheist.
Yeah, but
Matthew,
you come together to fucking take out the bullshit. And you don't care where it is.
Hell yeah.
That's commendable. That's commendable.
And it's crazy. That's how I met Taylor and shit. You know, I just seen him talking some mad smash. I hopped on there. I didn't even bother debating him. I was just like, yeah. Oh yeah, I drink beer too. Oh, wonderful. All right, we get along just fine. Yeah, I don't drink beer. It's terrible. But you know, shit, we still get along because you know there are things. You know, there's certain topics of discussion that we have in common and whatnot, and that's what's important. Like you may not agree on everything because there's a lot of things that I say that Taylor doesn't agree with. There's a lot of things that he says that I don't agree with. We don't worry about it. I don't worry about it. You know, I'm sure he doesn't worry about it. And there's a lot of shit that Matthew says that I don't fucking agree with. I remember when I first met this dude, he was talking about like he's a fucking feminist and shit. And I just ripped into him. But that was like before I got to know him.
That's gotta be equal. Gotta see the ways. The more equal you could be to the woman, because like lesbian ways. What are we talking about? I'm a feminist.
Nothing. Matthew. Battle Kitty, yes, you are.
Because in emotional psychology way, I'm more female than male. I am. Like my nanny's pretty pie. It's like we have a mother. I got female influence. Oh, that's on me. I can talk.
Okay.
So let him back in.
I'm having a psychic reaction.
All right.
Better back out.
Yeah.
This is my favorite part of the show.
Because that's what the guys you've been dealing with are Hadithers. And I've been tracking these fuckers for like a couple weeks. Because if you go in the Quran, there's a surah in the Quran called Kafiran.
Mm-hmm.
And it gives this to each his own. Right? It says like, I worship what I worship, you worship what you, just leave me the fuck alone, I'll leave you the fuck alone. It gives you this to each his own kind of Islam. And one hadith, these guys have to ignore that because when you go to their countries, right, especially like in Saudi Arabia or Kuwait, one of those countries, like when I was there, example, they're not to each their own. There's like you gotta stay. There's sections of the city where you can do whatever the fuck you want, but no, there's no wine legal. There's no nothing. They're like on a mission, kind of like some of the, like here in the U.S. we got dry counties and shit like that.
Yeah.
We got religious laws, so they kind of put their hand in the politics with it.
Yeah.
Like
I know it's fucked, isn't it?
Yeah.
that's what these hadithers promote: the Sharia law, the jurisprudence schools.
They put their whole arm in it as opposed to the hand. The
Yeah.
whole entire body, their being. Like, follow us or die.
Yep.
Well, that's, you know what, like Matthew was talking about being a feminist. I don't know if I would classify myself as a feminist. I say I am for the most part because I believe in promoting true equality of women. And I think as men, we think, well, it's pretty fair. It's pretty fair across the board. You know, what's the problem, right? I think I was raised by a few different women. Like my mom died when I was young, and I got raised by my grandma and an aunt. I think I just grew up with a different perspective and always hating tribalism of any kind. Like I hate fucking tribalism. I hate fucking racism. I hate fucking nationalism. I hate fucking bigotry because it's all fucking stupid. Like really, we're all just people and we're all just trying to live our lives. And so this attaching ourselves to these pointless labels is pointless. So I think with promoting true equality with women, promoting the trusting in the scientific method and promoting free speech and free flow of ideas, it's staying positive. And for me, that's the best tool to fight to me offensive religions. Anyone that gets offended at that needs to go. Like needs to go. You need to like go. Like good ideas need to win out. And that's what
My name is Jordan Peterson, and you really hurt my ears with that. Unbelievable. When I heard that, my feelings got hurt. Just a little
God,
bit.
that was good. That's good. You need to start leaving prank phone messages. This is Jordan Peterson.
Dude,
that was good. Oh fuck.
he's one of my heroes. I love that guy. I listen to him and whatnot. I tend to agree with him, but I definitely see exactly where you're coming from. You know, like that's the mindset that a lot of folks definitely should have. It's like, hey, we do need to have this conversation, but we got to have this conversation about equality in a practical way, in a practical manner. You know, it's like it's we're not going to be handing out participation trophies. These are things you got to earn. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh
It's
yeah.
a man's world. We built this place.
Like Jordan, like I would say, it's a man's world. We built this place. We did it. But at the end of the day, women do have the ability to get out there, get the jobs, and do what they have to do to progress and excel. And that's how I feel. I'm like, women have the ability to do that. You got a lot of women in power. You got Hillary Clinton out there. You got your AOCs and what have you. You got a lot of women making great strides. Kathleen Kennedy out there with the Star Wars and shit. I don't care for politics and whatnot. Fine by me. Do your thing, sweetheart. Do your thing. I love Star Wars, no matter fucking whatever the fuck they do. It's always been a beacon of progressiveness for me.
Hasn't really like all like comic books and sci-fi for the most part been progressive. Like people don't realize how progressive Stan Lee was in his storytelling in Marvel. And the Star Wars, but you know what? Like I think if you want to say the media or just whatever, they've really done a great job of twisting the narrative. Because I think at the end of the day, if you talk to people and you ask them what they think is important, most are going to be like freedom Like,
Yeah.
just let people fucking live their lives. You know, if they're not hurting you, like, just let them be. Like, and that's why I don't want to. I don't think like, you know, like, I don't think like I try. Like I said, I'm my way of fighting against religions isn't trying to say like oh, you're a fucking asshole or you're an idiot for believing this. No, I get it. I get why people believe in it. Like, and I like Taylor. We can sit here and talk, and him believing right now, he doesn't have to validate to me his belief
Right.
for us to have a conversation, right? Just like he doesn't, I don't have to validate, you know, not believing in it, or you, and that's probably why you guys get along, right? You understand where each other's coming from, and you let sleeping dogs lie, right?
I already know I'm gonna rustle his jimmies when I get to heaven, so I'm like, yeah. As soon as I get there, walk to the pearly gates and shit.
I'll tell you.
Hold the fucking phone. You can't let this brain rot atheist up in here. I can just God, you're making a mistake.
Well, I'll tell you, my best friend, he believes in God, and we had a conversation about it. And I tell you, and it's the same. I'll tell you the same thing I told him is that I don't want a fucking eternal life. Like, I'm looking forward to when this is done. It's lights out, big sleep, final, good. I'm good with it. Thanks. I had a life like, oh, you lived like 40, 50 years of this shit. Oh, you want a fucking eternity of it? No, thanks. Like, I'm good.
Oh,
Like, I'm happy with like the idea of not existing, and I think that's the allure of the beliefs a lot of times. But to each their own. But if people want to believe in it, let them believe. We all got to get along. We all got to live with each other. So, and let's progress forward. Like, this is what I don't understand when people don't like advocate for stuff that makes your society as a whole better. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Do you want to go back to when kids were like in coal mines and we didn't have a weekend, a 40-hour week, and you know, people didn't have benefits? Like, fuck. Everyone needs to get this shit together because the rich is winning. None of us are, no matter what, none of us are fucking rich. None of us are wiping our asses with $20 bills, right? And that's like, we're all on the same side. It doesn't matter. All this other shit is just distraction. It's always about fucking money, unfortunately.
I'm wiping my ass with dollar store toilet tissue, so I totally dig it.
Yeah. Oh man, that's the worst, isn't it? Especially when your finger goes through. That shit's so...
right through it, and you just sniff it. You're like, did I touch it?
Did I? Shit. Oh, I hate playing Edward Pooh fingers.
That's good. Can I have it here and there, Tyler?
No, you've already had your here and there.
No, but it's there. Okay. Okay. Well, like I get this psychic thing. I'm very psychic. Okay, when someone thinks about me, like everything. About
Okay, what number am I thinking of? Wait, hold on. Like, what number am I thinking of? What number?
I'm comfortable.
Matthew.
It's about me. If I'm psychic,
Matthew. What number am I thinking of?
It's not a number. It's how people relate to each other. How
I knew you. That's exactly what I was thinking of. Holy crap! You're blowing my mind, man.
It's not like. There's a point of
I tried to trick him. I tried to trick him into picking a number, and he went. And that's what I was thinking of. It's crazy.
It's like you can't figure out. No, it's not like how people relate to each other, but it's like how you pertain to me. If you pertain to me in like a negative way, like if it's like I know I can't be that for you. I can't be that for you. I can't. It's very uncomfortable for me. Like, if I'm being good, if I'm caring about you, you can't say that's better than what's everything else in your life. Like, I'm a big deal because of what I did. I'm a big deal. I'm nurturing you. I'm taking care of you. It's good. Oh my God! Compared to everything else, that was the drug, nurturing. You got everything else. I'm being good to you. Anyway, I know it's good. Oh my God! Like you compare nurturing.
There we go. Again,
everything else, you know.
Unbelievable.
No, but this must be something special, huh? This must be special. This is a big deal because it's caring about somebody. I hate you. I know, but I'm very good. it's about I'm having a backlashing. I'm trying to get a lawsuit. I know. I deserve a lawsuit. Again, you gotta look at my Facebook. I don't want to say it here and mess up the show if you're watching it. I'm trying to
What
get a
the fuck are you talking about?
Well, I've been writing a lot of face. I shared a link on my thing. I think someone from my thing.
Oh my god.
Someone that like always. I know it's like psychological torture. But I'm talking about myself now. I'm not gonna mess up the show. I'm not gonna mess up the show. I love you.
I love you.
Look at my
Too.
Facebook
I
wall.
love you.
A serious.
You want to go Battle Kitty backstage?
If I had the right information, so I'm thinking, oh, it's a good way. It's an innocent way. It's a nice way.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, John had it too.
I know.
I was thinking about for him too.
Underneath the situation, I understood. It wasn't gonna mess anything out. It was good. It was what you needed. Oh no.
There goes Matthew. All right.
Holy crap.
Battle Kitty backstage.
Yeah, Matthew, go back to the chat with that nonsense. We got to recollect. We got to get back on track.
Yeah. Oh my god. So the Hadithers.
Yeah.
Oh my god. So I watched part of that review they did on R and Raw. Like, they're like blowing each other. Like, oh, you're so smart. Oh, you're the smartest in philosophy. like they're you gotta. It's like you said it's like a gangbang. Oh my god! Have you ever heard 4 fucking people blow so much smoke up their own asses in all your life? Like, it was embarrassing. Like, do people fall for this? Like you said, like their followers probably aren't watching the original video, or like
Justin fell for it.
And you know what this is? This is how powerful these mind tricks work.
Yeah.
When you project onto other people what you want, like, I don't want to say the weak-minded, but people that aren't used to manipulation and cons can fall for it. And that's why they feel like they have personal experiences and why. So, like, he got convinced, and now even if he wanted to step out of it, he would probably have a hard time with it. And
I have no
doubt.
About
the Hadithers. The Hadiths were romantic.
Do you think his life would be in jeopardy if he decided to leave Islam? No.
Yeah.
Nah.
There's Hadiths
Really?
out there. Yeah, there's Hadiths about that. Like, that's what I'm saying. These guys are hardcore with the Hadiths. The Hadiths say the apostate.
And he's got a platform and shit. He's got a huge platform now. So he's up there. He is fucking.
You know what? His show's doing better than mine, and I don't have one. So, like, he had me on once or twice before he converted, and I don't have a problem with. I like him. I don't like the dishonest tactics and just the arrogance. Honestly, it's just nauseating. No one gives a shit how smart you think you are in it.
I feel like the arrogance was always there.
I don't know, man. I from what I saw, he was always nice. And he's still nice. Don't get me wrong. I'm just when you get in that battle mode of debate and you're sniffing your own farts because you think you're so goddamn smart. I get the ego boosting and what it does to people. But sometimes, people have to set other people straight. It's stop being like that.
Yeah.
You're not that important. None of us are that important, and it's okay. It's okay. You don't have to know everything. This is this whole philosophy, being able to be convinced on just philosophy and changing your whole life is just.
And that's why, he was when he and Taylor and I were having that back and forth with him. And he's talking about us being philosophically, and I was like, I didn't care for you to hop on here to have a debate with us. Be honest with you, that's not my field. It's not my subject. I'm not going to debate you on it. First and foremost, I know what I know. I know how I feel. I have of the understanding of logic and reasoning in the world. You and I, you could understand this. Seeing is believing. So if I see it, I'm going to fucking believe it. If I don't fucking see it, I'm not going to take it at face value. If somebody convinced you of Allah and what have you, fine, more power to you. And I told him he's a weak-willed person. He's got a very weak mind, and he should reevaluate it because, like I said, I've seen him do this arrogance thing before. I have been in a debate with a little buddy of his.
Mhm.
I went full MAGA. Shouldn't have gone full MAGA. I should have just stayed in my fucking lane and just cracked some fucking jokes and shit. You know, just been a little Mr. Jokey Ray Bay instead of trying to be fucking full fucking MAGA. I shouldn't have gone that route. That's one of the things I don't like to do is fucking debate how I feel about my politics, about how I view my country, and how I view certain issues that go on, social issues.
And you know what? You have a right. If you don't feel like discussing it and you like it's just like okay, and you respect other people, okay.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's how it should be.
Like I like to talk about my ideas, but that's about it. That's about as far as it's going to go. I have my own little platform. I get on there, I talk my shit, I let it rock. You know what I'm saying? Let it simmer. If people agree with it, they agree with it. If they don't agree with it, you're more than entitled to share your opinion. Just like I've shared my opinion. It's not going to be a debate. I don't have a PowerPoint presentation to go along with all my shit to try to prove anything to folks. And I did that. I didn't do that. I tried to win this debate with this kid on Justin's show, and Justin got the better of me. He started interrogating me. I exploded on him.
Wow.
I feel bad.
But didn't you apologize?
Oh yeah, I apologize for my behavior. I didn't apologize for my opinion. I straight up told him, I was like, listen, my behavior was very deplorable. I shouldn't even responded to you in that fashion. It wasn't your fault. Actually, it was his fault. It really was his fault because he started interrogating me, and I couldn't understand for the life of me. He was interrogating me. He's putting words in my mouth. He's trying to tell me I was being transphobic. Wasn't being transphobic. I'm not a very transphobic person. I like transgender people. I can see myself marrying a transgender woman. But he was trying to say that like there's certain things about gender that I'm just I'm a stickler on. And for him and his little buddy, they were like, it's a spectrum. And that's fine. Cool. Let that spectrum rock. But I was sharing my opinion. They didn't like me sharing my opinion. It wasn't a debate. I thought we were just there to have a conversation and share opinions. But they're trying to tell me I was wrong. And I'm like, I'm not wrong. This is just my opinion. I mean, you guys may think I'm wrong, but I know I'm not wrong.
So let's get back to this.
I wasn't wrong. All right, I was wrong.
We were watching something called Epistemology, and it was supposed to be just a call-in show.
Yeah.
And then Mr. Wrecking Ball came in at the end. Well, we got two wrecking. We had a right. Remember, we're watching this, and we got Khalil Alad midway through. we had a
so vain.
We got hijacked by one of these Sunni Muslims. he come on, full decked out, smoking a cigarette, hijack our show. And I'm like, can we please just get to Jimmy's part?
With the ruby red lips and everything. Shit.
So what was that? Was that a megaphone that you had?
Oh, well, so in part of the interview, in case anyone hasn't seen it, just so that we reference it, there was a point every time I would try to make a point, I couldn't talk for more than 30, 45 seconds. And they'd be like, just listen to me. Listen to me. And there's one point he's like, just listen to me. Listen to me. And then I'm like, I'm doing this, like telling him, like, I'm listening. And he just kept saying it. So I just picked up my daughter's lamp and put it to my ear, like an old timey, earphone thing. He didn't like that very much.
That was
at
the
one
listening
point.
device?
What's that?
At one point, there was some squeaking.
Yeah, what was it? Yeah, it was funny because you started doing the Mickey, then I started doing the Mickey. So that's exactly what it sounded like. While I'm wearing my Mickey shirt.
So chipmunks
was
invaded the stream.
Holy smokes!
What's
I
that,
exited the
Taylor?
world for 16 years, and 2 years ago I came back into it. I joined Suicide Girls. I started getting cool again. I was getting cool. Fucking drop, crippled from schizophrenia, and I had to gradually get more cool.
Whose interview is this, Matthew?
I got joined Suicide Girl, and I'm 22 years old now.
You're embarrassing
22 years old.
me. Oh my
And
god,
age,
you're
I'm
talking
22
about
years old
these
plus
fucking
enlightenment.
suicide girls
Okay, back
again.
into it.
Oh
I'm done.
no.
You don't get found. Okay. I exited the world. I came back into it. I was out of the world for 16 years. I came back into it.
Jesus,
And I aged 2 more years. I'm 22 years old with like the whole thing of knowing heaven and hell. I know heaven and hell, and I'm 22 years old. I exited the world for 16 years, and now I know everything. I'm 22 years old. I know everything. I'm 38. I'm thinking I exited the world for 16
Yeah,
years.
38, and you still ain't touched a woman since you were born.
I learned hell first. I know 22-year-old boy is not uncommon. I learned hell, and then I learned
Because
heaven.
women do all the talking,
Now I'm 22
Matthew.
years old again.
Women do all the talking.
I
That's
was
why.
20, 21, 22. I'm 22 years
Don't
old.
ever ask about nobody
I
else,
exited the
man.
world for 16 years.
All right, back to Jimmy's interview.
Thank you.
We already know about Matthew. He
He's,
had way too many heroes and veers tonight.
Yeah, man. Shoot.
That's holding the whole show.
oh, he's a nice guy. He's a
Yeah,
nice
Matt
guy.
Well, that's we have to babysit him.
It's wonderful.
You don't have to
Yeah.
babysit him every day like we do.
How does he fit into all this? Like
He's
I
our-
understand.
He's just ours. We just inherited him from somebody. I fucking met him on the internet one day, and he came on my show and did the same thing. He just talked about nothing for like a long period of time, and I just went, "Fuck."
So this is like the island of misfits toys, then, isn't it? The
Well,
show
yeah,
you
but
fucking collect all.
I'm in an atheist group preaching the gospel to atheists, and this fucker joins saying like, blah, 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 blah. And I just let it go on and on and on and on, trying to piece together what's going on and whatnot. But then I got thanks, right? Somebody told me like, hey, he's a selective mutus and he doesn't talk to anybody in years, and he wanted to talk to you that bad. And I was like, oh, okay. And that's how I inherited him.
How is that? Like, I really, I've got to give you props. Like, I've watched how much respect you've been giving to R and Raw. Like, you've started this whole R and Raw facts on the, which is cute. Like, take off on the Chuck Norris fact. But as a theist, and just like the amount of respect that, like, how you talk about Arn and how you defended him against like the Muslims who were like, holy crap, what planet are they on? Like, they think they handled Arn Raw, like, and saying he doesn't know what he's talking about. Are you kidding me? I could barely understand Arn because he is so fucking smart in science. And anyone that says that he isn't, they're just wrong. They're just wrong.
Aaron Raw,
I wouldn't even debate him.
he doesn't dial wrong numbers. People pick up the wrong phones.
Yeah. So I have to commend you on the amount of respect that you have for him and like for doing the show and having Ray as your partner as an atheist. How is like, because I've seen you along too. Like, you are not like, you are no like little child either in the debating world. Like, you know your shit. Like, you're a monster among men yourself, sir. So, like, how's this work, like, for you?
How does I drink and be married?
No, but what made, like, to me, for you to start this show and as a theist, like you said, like, you've been preaching the gospel and that was your passion, which is fine. But to go to now this of basically fucking sniping them all off, these fucking guys that use dishonest tactics.
Well, I'm a Bible believer and I'm a gospel purveyor, but I'm also a person with sinful nature. I'm just as much of a sinner as the next guy. In fact, there's people I've met in the atheist community that I feel like, hey, man, like you live in a fucking house with a picket fence and green grass out in front, and I've never experienced that shit. I've never been that innocent. I can't remember that. Like maybe like 4 or 5 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not somebody sitting on a high horse and shit preaching down to the atheists, right? I'm with the atheists down here, preaching like, hey, you know, I know firsthand what it's like to be in this light with God. So there's a person, Taylor, just like there is a pastor, Taylor, and that's where I stand. Is that like I'm not trying to elevate myself higher than I sit with God. I'm still a lowly piece of shit sinner that deserves hell.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people forget that in their ministry. You got these guys, they're all high exalted, they got their nice suits and shit like that. And they're going to be the first ones to find out that they're lukewarm and get spit into the hellfire with the atheists. And they'll be like, hey, you loved hanging out. You loved talking about us, right? You get to hang out with us for eternity.
See, you know what? This like okay. So I was for many of your guests, your audience, I believed in the Bible, and I was for about 20 years. Now, not all those years were hardcore for me, but a lot of them were. But I still believed in all that time. And when I was hardcore, like I saw a lot of these fucking preachers making six, 7 figures a year, like exploiting the gospel for their own gain, and it pissed me off because I had the mindset of what fucking Christ said. Like, I'm saved, Taylor. What did they say to Jesus? What did Jesus say to be saved?
Well, I need to believe that, one, I'm a sinner and I deserve hell, and I need to carry that cross in order to follow Christ.
No. What did Jesus say? What did Jesus say when they asked?
How does one inherit the kingdom of heaven?
How do I be saved?
Well, first you obey the laws, and then when you've already done that your whole life, you'll say throw away your
possessions.
Throw away your possessions, and right? Why
sell your possessions and help the poor, right? Like that should be the basics of all these fuckers out there, and they're not. And I respected that mentality. I respected that mentality to be passionate and to give your life to a cause. And like if someone's like genuine in their beliefs, like I can respect that. But I saw too much of that shit when I was a believer. And I just seen the fruits of the spirits of what religion does to a lot of people. So yeah. So like I commend you because I know that you're very passionate about what you believe, and you spend a lot of time preaching the gospel. So to team up with an atheist, I think it's cool. It's a cool dynamic that you guys have.
Faith-based atheist.
Faith-based atheist.
Faith-based atheism.
Yeah. Faith-based.
What is the prophet of John? Like, please, I don't know what that is.
It's a toilet that he worships at his house.
It's a small little personal religion and whatnot. It's my beliefs. I believe that existence is God, per se. John is the name of existence, people, places, and things. It's a slang term in Philly that we use. And, I just was like, you know what? Like, I started getting into sobriety. I've been sober for over a year and 4 months now. I needed a higher power, and John is my higher power. So it's like my personal religion.
Yeah.
Whatnot. I like to fuck with people and shit and tell them that, we came from outer space and all this extra shit, and then we're aliens and whatnot. But I have no clue. I really don't.
Yeah.
So, I'm in a castle in hell.
I add that to there. I was like, yeah, we're fucking aliens. Shit.
But for me, it doesn't go that way. I have another cross that goes from here to here. Most of the time, I'm in heaven, but sometimes I take a vacation home. It's like a vacation home in hell. There's keepers that work there, but like I'm not very close to them. My close people are live in my world. But I just have a vacation home. I have a castle in hell after I die.
My God.
I made it when I was 20 years old. Now I was 21 years old. I made a castle in hell. It's like a really good place. Like it's for unforgiven sins.
Jesus.
If you got people like locked in there that can stay there, I'm like Vlad the Impaler. But I'm like I was Vlad the Impaler, but I grew on. I became better things. I became the Angel King. But I still own that castle. It's still my property. It's a castle in hell. There's underground layers. It's a castle in hell. You go this way, that way, and it comes through the ass and comes out the mouth like that. I made that when I was
what the fuck?
It's a castle in hell.
Gray Skull He-Man bullshit are you talking about, man?
There's gardens in this castle. The gardens in the castle that I made. So it's like games. Like you can make torture games. I play it too. if you got to win. If you don't win, you lose. You die. So it's like these torture games you play in hell. Those are in the gardens.
Yeah, send that motherfucker to the back. He drawn. He said he had a castle in hell. I love you. I love you, Battle Kitty, but geez Louise.
God.
Battle Kitty's got way too many here's and there's tonight, man. He's not playing his little. He's not over there playing his little Mario fucking Wii U. He's just straight getting us.
Yeah.
Straight.
Is that like
hijacking.
something in his head, or is that like a game? He's just because
he's the battle. He's like the little brother that's older than us. And shit.
That's funny.
He's older than us.
He's older than us, but he's like
He's older than us.
How old is he?
38.
38.
Yeah. If Matthew were my brother, I'd be proud of him.
He's the Battle Kitty, right? You see that he don't look a day over 25, but he's 38, and that's because he's never been near a woman before. So like the life,
he hasn't had a woman suck part of his soul out.
Yeah, the youth
right.
is still in him. Like the woman hasn't taken it from him yet.
You know what? If she's really good, she can make you feel like your whole goddamn soul's being sucked out. If she's good.
If she's good, yeah.
Yeah. No, God.
It's like, see what it says, but not what it means, because what it means is not what it says. Yeah, I know.
Wow, I know. I'm better than
you guys are really roasting them. Are you going to continue with the Muslim apologists, or are you going to move on to like atheists? I don't know, atheist channels you think that are being dishonest, or are you going to? What's the next?
I was talking about this earlier. Like the atheists have, like I've done this to atheists for years. I've been with atheists 6-7 years now.
Yeah.
And then like all these Muslims started showing up, and I'm like, they seem like they're immune to the atheist, like they're immune to scrutiny and criticism. But I'm like, you guys are the ones with the gospel of Jesus that came down from the angel, like the Apostle Paul said in Galatians 1. You guys are anathemas. You're subject to the same scrutiny I give to the atheist. What makes you exempt? And that's where we fall in. Like the atheists, there are atheist apologists, there are atheist counter apologists. There's some atheists giving some dumb arguments out there, but they're nowhere near as dishonest as these Muslim, these hadithers.
Yeah, it's interesting to hear your perspective, right? And I thought, like, I got a kick out of it because I'm calling in to their show, which is Islam, and you're a Christian. So to hear you like rip apart their BS, it's refreshing. It's refreshing. It's like angel piss on my tongue on a hot day. That kind of refreshing. Because like I knew I was getting slang bullshit, but I don't want to be rude. But I still don't want to be rude. Like, he was still nice to have me on. I want to be, but they're not really being honest about a lot of their positions. And they contradicted themselves constantly. Like,
that's a running theme with them.
Yeah. And then it's like, and then they gaslight you. Oh, no, you're contradicting yourself. Well, I'm pretty fucking consistent in my logic. Whether it's right or wrong, I'm pretty consistent. This reasonable, being reasonable.
When we did the Vin v. Jake debate, excuse me, not debate, discussion. When we did the Vin v. Jake discussion, I was 100% team Vin, all the way up, all the way through. Sorry? Oh yeah, the metaphysician. Oh, my fault. I'm sorry. The metaphysician.
That's Jake.
Yeah, that's Jake. Yeah.
Okay, so what happened with Vin? And sorry, I didn't.
So Jake started contradicting himself.
Okay.
And lying.
Oh.
And right in the beginning, he said so what was it? Vin asked him if something was a being or some jazz like that, and and he asked him if it was what did he ask him, Taylor? Was it contradictory or some shit like that?
Yeah, he was asked if the being and persons were distinct, so you could be one in being and separate in person. And he said, at this point, I agree.
Yeah, and he's like, no, not yet.
Yeah,
yeah, he said no, not yet, and
Yeah.
then he ended up changing his answer later on down the road. Then tried to put him back on track. Was like, hey, no, you said no, not yet. And Taylor and I are scrolling back, and I'm like, oh, yeah, he said it right there. It's like timestamp 1209, and I'm just sitting there like, yeah, you're like, dude, you over here contradicting yourself and shit through the whole fucking tale. Then he's tried to change up the fucking the definitions to words and shit, and I was just like, this is ridiculous. Yeah, this is a honeypot that we need to delve into. Like, I would like to see us do some atheists. I would love to see us do some atheists and whatnot.
we'll eventually get to the
some
atheists.
Christians and shit. And some
I
Christians.
got some of my sites, but they haven't crawled towards the web. We have there's like a web, right? Because we started out with right. All the rage was this Aaron Raw video, and yes, we will get into. I've seen some of Quran Hadith stuff, and we did find something very interesting on your channel. But there's a web we had. Like, we started out with the Aaron Raw video, and we're like, what's all the rage about this? And like, I remember watching this right while we're doing it, and we're laughing about it because it's a joke. It's a complete fucking joke. So we're just laughing at the joke with them, and then we start to see it starts to be revealed to us that this is a guy that took time out of his day to sit down with 3 Muslims and have these fuckers stroke their egos and grab each other's dicks in hand and shit and attack the guy. It wasn't
Right.
gangbang. And then I'm like, well, they got 3 more videos where they're pushing a narrative that they've destroyed this guy in a debate.
Which
and
he did.
it changes. They embellish the story further. First it goes, they're having a discussion with Aaron Raw. Then it goes, they're having a debate with Aaron Raw. And then it goes, they converted Aaron Raw to Islam. So they all the people that were involved in that fell into our little web.
No. They didn't say Aaron Raw became Islam. They did the old Eric Cartman thing where they just ask a question. Did Aaron Raw become Muslim? Oh, did he molest children? They just like they put out the most craziest shit, but they phrase it as a question. So they don't.
They're like, does he believe in God? I'm like,
No.
What? No, he doesn't.
No. Short answer, no. Long answer, no.
As long as he's been an atheist, no. Shit.
Yeah, no, he's he'll never be a theist. It's hard when you depend on science.
Yeah.
So
it really is.
That's what we come in with, a different paradigm and shine the light on the thing, the stuff they missed, right? It's obviously they don't like to see that. They're like, no, we can't be wrong. Yeah. There can't be anything wrong with what we're saying. That goes against our fitna, they call it. so they shun us. They shun us back. No, you can't be right. You can't be serious. There's nothing wrong with us. We haven't said anything wrong. We haven't contradicted ourselves once. We can't be scrutinized. We're completely unfalsifiable. It's perfectly fine for 3 Muslims to ambush attack an atheist under the guise of a discussion, turn it into a debate on Twitter, say, oh, the 3 of us debated, right? Fuck our integrity. The 3 of us debated one atheist. And then to turn it over and say, no, we evangelized, we proselytized this atheist, and he became a believer against his own will against that.
We're just that good. We did a focus on them, and they're magic.
And how dare you talk about us, man?
I don't have a problem with break 50 of them. I don't care. Line them up one after another. Bad arguments after bad arguments. It doesn't matter. God, it doesn't matter. Bad arguments are bad arguments. Yeah. And so, like, what I don't like is the interrupting, and it's the not allowing to present evidence, not accepting evidence, moving the goalposts. Like that whole like we don't. How do we not know if we have there's other minds and not like not accepting that I conceded that there's the possibility that, like we could not know, but no one in their life lives their life like that. We all live our life with reasonable confidence. And if I can go out, like I pointed to my wife, I can go get her right now. I bring her to you. I present evidence. And I can do that. And it's predictive and it's verifiable and it's, demonstrable. That should be good enough for all of us, but they don't accept that. And I don't understand why not. Maybe I'm just not smart enough in philosophy.
Yeah, you philosophy and that human being. How dare you? How dare you question them? Unbelievable.
Yeah, that's a straw man.
No rights.
That's a straw man.
What aboutism?
Oh God, yeah, but you guys are right to point it out and to point out any of these dishonest tactics.
Yeah.
Like they're straight up lying about like saying how they destroy people, and it's like even with Justin, like saying that I'm always interrupting, and if he says that to his other guests when they don't, like that's not fair either, right?
He's
Good
a terrible
arguments.
moderator.
Yeah. Good arguments should always prevail, right?
Yeah.
And he was talking to me about how my philosophy isn't that great. And I'm just like, well, I guess you're a bad teacher because you're not explaining it very well. Like, if I can poke holes in your shit really easy, then, like, I'm not anything fucking special. So, you're not explaining it very.
It doesn't take a philosophy major in order to poke holes through any of that bullshit. Like, I just be like, you don't need to be well versed in philosophy to win a debate. There are far more. There are topics outside of philosophy that you can debate: science, politics, sports, video games, media, all kinds of bullshit and whatnot. And for someone to use a topic as philosophy as a reason, someone's lack of knowledge of philosophy to win a debate, that's not how that works.
Yeah.
Because you're not debating philosophy, you're debating religion, you're debating belief, you're debating faith.
Yep.
Versus
facts.
And versus evidence.
You know how it's like his position isn't reasonable? Is the fact that he has to go down, and I've said this to him before, you have to go down this rabbit hole of philosophy and just like mentally bend yourself into a pretzel. And this is where the word convoluted comes back. And what it was like, if you had to fucking give that episode a name, it would be convoluted, because that's what they did. They just weaved a narrative, and I believe in Occam's razor, which is the simplest answer is usually the most correct. That's the basic gist of it. So if you gotta fucking take 20 minutes to explain, get to God, then that God is useless. I'm sorry. If you have to fucking go down that rabbit hole to believe in that stuff, then it is useless. And it should be, if you actually put a couple minutes to thinking about it, should verify to you that's enough evidence that you need to know that it's not true.
Yeah.
I told you, to me, my attitude is this: if there's a God, it should be as natural as having to go take a shit or scratching your arm. Like, we should all know what it is, and it should be pretty fucking clear. But no one agrees on it. So that's the truth.
It's simple.
The truth is, you know what? This is what I said to them. And he cut me off when he was talking about truth. This was like another red herring, because did you notice what they did? He was asking me about truth, and his example was about a baby killer and how if we should bring him to justice, then don't you believe that's the truth? And then he talks about God. And he fucking like that guy is like the asshole. That is like the asshole like that tries to sneak in anal sex. He's like going at her, and then all of a sudden he's like, oh, sorry, honey. I just stay there for a minute. That's what he tried to do. He tried to fuck me up the ass with that terrible analogy.
I just have a big thing for
Poopsies.
When I get married, like strap on, this is good, and I can make point of view like husband,
Oh my
wife,
God.
gay pornography.
Okay, great. Thank you. So, like, like anyone can go back and watch those videos, watch the interview. I hope Justin's watching. I really want him to take a moment and really wrestle this stuff around when no one's around, because that's all I hope to do is to plant seeds. Because if people actually sat down and thought about that, I really have noticed like this narrative, like in society, how we're all born into it, that God is like the default belief for some reason. And it seems strange not to believe in it. But that idea, like that, I really wrestled with that. Because I always believe that if there's a God, it fucking hates religion. And the last thing it would want is, like, I'm sorry, Taylor, if I'm offending you, but to me, if there's a God, it wouldn't want worship. Like if you love something, like you don't want that. You don't want that. You don't want that. Like
That's
you don't
something
want
Taylor
worship.
doesn't know how to do.
What's that?
Taylor does not know how to worship his God.
I don't. I'm talking. Like I don't want to. Like we're talking here, and I don't.
No, he agrees. He agrees. Because
like I think the idea of worship is stupid.
My worship doesn't do a goddamn thing for God because I'm just a fucking little shit human. It's more of it's grace than my worship is doing anything. And a lot of people don't think that. They think that they're better than they actually are, and they think that God's like, oh, one up for worshiping me. Right? Your worship isn't. Yeah, we worship God. But it's not a physical thing. It's a metaphysical thing. That, like we understand that we're sinners and we deserve hell. These guys think that if they do certain things during their day, that God likes that. Like, oh, I like that.
That breaks my heart. That breaks my heart that you think that. Oh, Taylor, you don't deserve hell. You're a good guy. Stop talking like that.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Stop. You're a wonderful person.
I just said you was gonna be right up there in heaven with me, nigga. Like
I'm a
you're a wonderful person.
I'm the sinner. I've gone to like San Francisco Pride, and I've preached to the homosexuals out there, but I've told them like, you guys, I'm not here to, I'm not speaking out of empathy. I'm speaking out of sympathy. All right. If you guys seen what I'd put my junk into, you'd be right here with me preaching to you guys too.
You're not a sinner. You're not defined by your sin. I'm sure you've told the truth. No one says you're a truther. Like, you are just, that's what breaks me heart about religion. Like it's one thing to believe in God, but God, like just to take on this mentality, because I carried that weight for decades, man. This idea that we're like born dysfunctional. Like if someone builds a car and that car doesn't work, you don't blame the car. You blame the person that built it. And like this idea that we're born into this, like we're born into this, like breaks my heart. Because it's like you take on a slavery of this sin idea. And that's the problem, is that no one knows what God wants.
No,
God's not coming down and
kids
telling
at one
us.
point. We were kids at one point, and we didn't want to fucking kill nobody. We didn't want to beat up the boss and shit that made us work too hard, and none of that. We just wanted to play G.I. Joes. We were kids. We had that innocence in our minds once, and that's exactly what the Bible says: is that man was built upright, and then many, like he went astray from the womb. Many of innovations came. So you went to work, you met girls in high school, you had all these problems come to you. that you didn't have when you were a child.
You know what? You make a good point about the mind of a child in the heart of a child, because in like I get that understanding, and it's what I preach in my Facebook groups. Like, you see, my name is the Reverend Brother Heathen, and in my little corner of the interweb, I am the founder of the Church of Heretics, and I promote a philosophy of fuckery. And what is fuckery? Well, fuckery is like when you think someone's going to zig and they don't zag, they just like, it's, you don't expect it. It's about embracing joy, pure, simple joy, being silly, at laughing, because you know what? This life fucking is hard enough. This life is so goddamn hard, so unfair sometimes, that if sometimes all we can do is laugh. That's our only weapon that we can use to fight back. And if you're laughing, I don't care how fucking rich you are or what position you're in. If you're laughing, you're winning. You're laughing, you're enjoying your life. That's all that matters. And that's why I get up, like, why I preach this level of just like, of humbleness. We don't know how this works, but to take on this idea that there's possibly, like, we could be punished, like this life wasn't fucking hard enough, then after we die, like there's a, like, our beliefs, what we believe in somehow, like, well, what? And this is what I press to the Muslims, and why they kept strawmanning my argument, because they couldn't answer it. There is no accountability to understand how any of this shit works. There's none. I have no idea how all this fucking shit works. All I know is that taking on this idea that we were born into, for like our great grandfathers, like, wrong, it defies everything inside me that, like, that I know is love. And I think, like, being a dad, and like, that was part of what drew me away from my faith, because my oldest son was never going to believe, and I could never go to heaven knowing my son was in hell. I couldn't. That would never be heaven for me. I can't. This idea that like people think that they're going to have a good life while also accepting the idea that other people are going to be tortured is, to me, very destructive.
Yeah.
And that's why I try to reach people about that.
That's why you come in like a wrecking ball on these Islamic apologists.
I want to put these thoughts in people's heads. You know, at the end of the day, like, even with you, like, I'm not trying to change your life. I'm not trying to tell you how to live your life or your beliefs, and we're just shooting this shit here. But I honestly, like, this idea of an eternal life is horrifying to me. It is absolutely horrifying to me. And I think it gets sold as something as a good thing. But, like, I think about this shit a lot. And this idea of existing forever is fucking terrifying. Terrifying.
Yeah.
And I realized, once I started thinking about all these different issues, and once I realized there's no way we could ever be accountable for this, those chains just fell off. It was a weight. It was like everything. Like, and I think that's what I found what religion did when it says, like, you can be the chains can be broken. I find that, like, there's a lot of this projection and gaslighting going on with it, when you don't realize there was chains. Like, if you don't hear about the Bible and hell and these concepts, you don't think about these things. And then when someone sells you this idea, it becomes a weight can be very unbearable. So, anyways, I don't mean to preach. Sorry, I don't mean to hijack your
You're
shit.
preaching that church of
I preach in the church of heretics. I can't help it.
church
I
of
can't
heretics.
flow with the spirit. I gotta talk.
Shoot, that's I see. That's what happens when you have a discussion. Is you let a person speak, you listen, you open your ears, you learn something new and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Shoot, that was inspirational as fuck. I'm sitting here jogging through my brain. And I'm like, man, this is fucking profound. I can't wait till I start my life over again, do things differently.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. You guys, you let your guests talk and you give them the floor, and I think that's commendable too. That's commendable too. So let's just hope that Justin, if he's gonna stay a Muslim, that at least he can. Oh, thank you, John. Yeah, I found through my Facebook group, like I've met lots of people throughout the world. And I've honestly, I've had people I've put out there that were afraid of the concept of hell because I think there's a lot of atheists out there that still struggle with it. And I've literally had people call me up through Messenger. I've had different people I didn't know from like a hole in the ground. And we talked for over an hour. And just by giving them a couple ideas, and it's very freeing. Because good ideas can be freeing. And at the end of the day, that's all I want. I want us all to be able to live our lives and not have to have any more anxiety and stress than we already have. This life is hard enough. God, Ray, is this life not hard enough?
The struggle, bro.
Fuck. Taylor, is this life not fucking hard enough, man?
No, it could be worse.
It can always be worse, but this life is fucking hard, man. It's not easy. Like, and it's hard. And to me, what's comforting is that the only thing that death is the great equalizer. It really is. It comes for all of us. No matter how fucking rich we are or poor, what color we are, where we smashed our genitals. It doesn't matter. It's coming for us all. And it's okay. Like, I am very content and very at peace. When it's done, it's done. The big sleep. Done. And I'm very content with that. And that's all I want for people. So I don't know what do you think the EA, like the Muslim apologists, do you think they're just trying to recruit people out in North America? Is that what this is all about?
They're trying to make us all Sharia Hadithers. And it's not going to work. We've locked in on them, and we've worked tirelessly against them.
Yeah.
Well,
they're spreading their Hadithist agenda, and it's not a good peaceful message. It's a message of, well, yeah, blah 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 blah. We don't believe. They don't. It seems like they don't actually believe what they're telling you, but they want you to believe it, and that's where we have to draw the line. It's like, no, you guys aren't practicing a religion. You guys are practicing a Ponzi scheme with us.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's why I pressed them about that question. I think it's the single, like, we can fight against this ideology without being bigoted, you know?
Yeah.
Because I don't want to hate on people. Like, that's never good. Like, it's never good to generalize about anyone, you know? And, like, I don't want to generalize against, like, women who wear headscarves or whatever, right? They're people. I don't want to make their lives more terrible. So it's that fine line of, you don't want to be bigoted, but, you know, like, this shit, some of these beliefs they're harmful. They really are. So that's why we should always press for, like I said, I find the most effective tool is just these harmful ideologies cannot stand to women being equal to men.
Yeah.
They can't. and they can't stand to the scientific method, and they can't stand to open discourse. Like, what is the penalty in Saudi Arabia for like being publicly atheists? Can't you go to jail for blasphemy?
Yeah, what is it, death, right?
Yeah, I think they were on the Tart Show. They have public beheadings, but I think the atheist is punishable by jail. Blasphemy is punishable by death. Beheading with the sword.
See, that's just that stuff scares me.
There's a heinous laws.
Well, any of these religious nationalism, like Christianity, can be bad too. Like, I think it's the Philippines where they have like moral police, fucking coming around and caning couples and shit like that. Like, it's crazy. Like, that's what worries me, and that's why I think it's important that we have keep having these conversations. And can I put out here too, because I keep hearing about this, like everyone getting all upset about like worrying about cancel culture. Like, everyone has practiced cancel culture for fucking all throughout history. Like, does no one remember the 80s satanic panic? Like
yeah,
there was motherfuckers that
Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, like there was people that fucking went, like, had their lives destroyed because they were accused of being Satanists. And people took that shit seriously. Like, it's ridiculous. But like, we've had cancel culture throughout. Yeah, and it's good to talk about that. Like, we should be able to express ourselves. And I will admit that, like, it's disconcerting. Like, it's almost McCarthyism that's coming around, that you can't say anything or someone's just gonna bite your fucking head off and it'll be used against you. So I heard you say, like, you catch a lot of shit from the atheist community, Ray, for being a Trump supporter. And so I commend you for at least being true to yourself. You know,
yeah,
I'm sure that you do get shit for it, you know.
Yeah, I get some shit for it. Some folks, some folks are very tolerant and whatnot. My coworkers are pretty chill. They're very chill, very chill. But a lot of folks on the internet, they don't like it very much. That I'm Uncle Tom, I'm a coon, I'm all these other fucking things I never was before in my entire life. But I'm used to being spat on. I'm used to somebody calling me outside of my fucking name that don't even know me, don't know my heart, and don't know my worth. And it's their loss.
Yeah. Yeah, the internet just brings the worst out in so many people, doesn't it? I find it's like everyone. I'm sure you caught it pretty hard, but I just find it across the board. People could be ignorant on the internet. You know,
definitely.
Not thinking that there's someone on the other side of that keyboard. You know,
and I tell folks all the time, hey, Donald Trump's not perfect. I'm not calling this man Jesus. I'm not calling him God. I'm not, he's not perfect. He's an asshole. He's a fucking prick. He says some stupid shit. But you know what? At the end of the day, I don't hate him as much as the next person. I really don't. I don't have any hate for him, man. I don't know him. He doesn't know me. But I do believe that he did a pretty good damn job. I mean, look at the state of the world right now. We got Joe Biden as president. Things that are happening that wasn't happening on this man's watch.
I fucking hate the guy, but I don't hate you.
Yeah, I can dig it.
Yeah. So
and that's your right. That's your right. That's your right.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't want to get into politics, and I don't want to like, you know what, like, you've already said too, like, you even said, like, I'm calm, like, you believe in what you don't want to, like, get into debate, and I can appreciate that. That's what we're not here for. You know what I mean? So that's fine, man. I'm glad that you guys are exposing these bad arguments, and you really, for the most part, I don't think you guys really took too many personal shots at them. So, like, I hope Justin is able to at least change the tactics a bit. I hope he's able to think about some of these arguments and he's not so dug in.
Yeah.
Because that's a hard. Like I started getting too like when I was a believer, I started getting too much cognitive dissonance with a lot of my beliefs, and I believe in being humble, and that's what I was trying to explain to them. Like I believe what makes me a good dad is that I try and I'm humble. Like I've fucked up so many times with my kids. You overreact sometimes. Maybe I fucking yelled when I shouldn't have, like whatever. And I have to apologize to them because I want them to see that like they can forgive me just like I can forgive them. But also, like we have to start having a foundation of what is true and what isn't. And this is what I was trying to get to them. And this is what I find is very effective in reaching, like I use it as for reaching my kids. And this is why I said to him, is that truth should be what we can both objectively agree on. And then we go from there. And that's how you do it. And that's how you reach someone. To me, if you want them to see it from your perspective, you have to make a steps of objective truths that you both agree on. And then they start their conversations and their arguments and just something about like shit that you can't is just like abstract. They start talking about everything and like, oh my God, like baby steps. Like buy me dinner first before you fucking squeeze my tits, like, and that's like, yeah, I found it very like if you could just keep it simple, sometimes you can make your point very easily. And it's not about being like super smart or being a Muslim destroyer. Like it's just realizing what you can and can't prove.
Yeah.
At the end of the day. And there's very little that you can really, so you stick with that kind of shit. Right? Yeah. So, and look at, we see things differently, right? My politics would probably be very controversial to you guys too, right? But we see things differently, but at the end of the day, we focus on the stuff that we agree on, right? Yeah. We all want open conversation, right? We all want to live our lives and to just be left alone and freedom and democracy and all that good stuff, right? And that's shit that we can all agree on. But we all know that their religion doesn't advocate for that.
No, it doesn't. Not one little bit.
Yeah, what do you think would happen to Battle Kitty's religion?
What's that?
Alive.
What do you think would happen to Battle Kitty's religion?
What do you mean?
If they found out about the Battle Kitty, because God's already gonna throw him in hell.
Why?
What do you think if the Hedethers found out about Battle Kitty's religion that he's practicing?
They would like it. What about me as an atheist? So like I'm probably putting the same.
I support the Hadith, but it's not like you can't just listen to like what how the prophet did it. If you don't have a God to tell you how to do it, you can do things the prophet did that God does not like how you do it. You can do things that the prophet did that God doesn't like how you do it. You do it wrong, dude. You don't do it with a loving. If you don't
did this fool just say he supports the Hadith?
Yeah, he's a Hadither.
Like the Hadith.
Oh, blasphemy! What's wrong with him?
You're saying I don't want to do this, God. I don't want to help you. I don't want to love you. I don't want to give love to God. I don't want to do it, but I do it anyway. That's disobedience. When you give God love, but you don't want to give God love, that's disobedience. You just fake in love. You can't fake love with God. That's disobedience. If you fake obeying God, you're disobedient because you don't want to do it. That's fake. That's how you get into it. That's sin. It's sin to pretend to want to do something for God or to show your dedication. It's sin to pretend you want to, but you don't really want to. You don't really want to do it.
Hey, what's going on, Kevin?
God, I don't like spending time with you. What you're saying is like, I'm forced to, but I don't like spending time with you, God. Mm-hmm. If you think you're forced to spend time with God, but you don't like to spend time with God, you're disrespectful. You faking like to spend time with God, but you don't like to spend time with God. You don't like to do this, but you act like God, he's pushing you around. Oh God,
I love spending time with God.
If you fake doing things for God, you're sinning because you're sinning more than not doing it than faking it. because like you're making God look like he's an asshole. Trying to look like you're like a God look like he's an asshole. You think he's.
Oh, that was wonderful. That was refreshing, wasn't it?
Music to my ears.
Oh my god. See,
Spending
like
time with God.
when I hear stuff like that, but to me, like it's just a drop in the bucket of people that are like that, who just have this whole like they have this whole thing created in their head. And as someone that got stuck into conspiracy theories too, like I get it. Like, I understand. I empathize. So it's hard. It's hard. That's why we should be trying to get back to the basics to reach each other. Just let's get back to the basics and the stuff that's important. And the fact that I can respect you, respect me. Let's respect our differences. Let's try to make this world a better place for all of us. Really, like, let's progress forward. And that's what, like, we should all be doing. We can look at history and see what doesn't fucking work. Unregulated capitalism doesn't fucking work. We got to have some rules in place. We've all got to benefit. Like, these are simple things. This is like, I don't know what your politics on universal healthcare is, but I have there's lines in the sand that I draw for myself. Like I'm just like, I'm sorry, fucking universal healthcare works. It just does. And it benefits everyone. And if everyone benefits, it's better for everyone. We live in a better society when we're all doing better. It's just...
Y'all have that in you said you're in Ontario?
Yes.
Yeah,
So y'all got that
That's
Canada.
that place that nobody goes to. All right, we got a marketing opportunity. Yes, we will have merchandise up soon.
I like the shirt. I will be getting one. I like
Okay,
it.
we got the merchandise.
I like Taylor's.
We're moving
Taylor's
on.
is more louder though.
Yeah, you got the loud Satan in your face. Right? It's not really Satan. It's my little devil. We call him D Bates DeVille.
Yeah.
He's the mascot. So yeah, we will be having merchandise for everybody.
Yeah,
soon.
I like the comments. Yeah, absolutely. Those are
Rocking
good
the wardrobe.
designs, man.
Turn on is crazy kitty. Kevin Brown. Let me know you guys are looking fly as fuck. And that's right.
Thank you.
We will eventually have
appreciate the compliment.
You'll see our pretty soon, guys, because we're climbing. So we're gonna have a merch store open. You're gonna have what you see here on the show because we got merch coming.
Add some Rogaine to that merchandise list. I'm going bald back here.
Right, but only the true will have the debate, the facts beer mug.
Oh.
Only the master of facts. You don't have to demonstrate there the master of facts. Right, I've earned the title of master of facts.
I'll continue drinking out of my little thermo flask. Oh my goodness. All right, so you were saying, Jimmy, you were saying universal health care.
Yeah.
So y'all got that up there in Canada. How's that been working out for you guys?
It's been going on since like the 60s, the 50s. It's great. Okay, so my wife, I'm going to give you an example, give you a couple of examples, okay? My wife, she had complications with her pregnancy. She had to go to Toronto to, I forget what the hospital is, but it's a world famous hospital. I forget I'm drawing a blank on it, but she stayed there for like a month. She was immobilized to the bed. Like she could have lost our daughter, blah, blah, blah. Then when we went to get the delivery, we had a private room for like 2 days, 2 or 3 days. She had a long labor. She was getting breast. There's a jacuzzi tub, suite room, doctors, the whole bit. You know how much it costs me? Parking. Like I think I paid like $60 in total, if that. That's it. No bill, no nothing. It's done. Okay. See you later. My dad, a jacuzzi tub for all they have a maternity ward with like, I think 4 or 5 rooms where they can handle like pregnant women. And there's a common jacuzzi tub, but this thing is sweet. There's like an opening door and you fill it up and it can move like back and like, it's like got special red lighting. So like it helps the women like fucking chill out and stuff. But the whole point, like she's got nurses on staff and like, it's like sweet, beautiful room, private. We never stressed about like when how long it's going to be. She had a year off, like, so she could bond with my daughter. And the thing is like, and they say, well, everyone comes from Canada for American healthcare. I'm like, bullshit. Like, never in my life have I met anyone in my entire life gone to America. And I've had at least my dad, I've had at least 3 to 4 aunts have cancer. Fought it with Canadian medicine. They don't have healthcare bills. People don't have bills. And this is what I always say to Americans that argue against it. Okay. First of all, I'm not living your life. Okay. So I understand. Okay. At the end of the day, you're there. What the fuck do I know? But all I know is this. I'm like, do you not know anyone that has healthcare bills that's in like debt do you not know anyone? Are you not in it? And almost every time across the board, that if they don't have like debt, someone they know, someone that's close to them is like financially burdened by it. No one has that here. And you wonder why there's fucking shootings and America has the highest incarceration rate. It's not one thing you can point to for this problem, but fucking universal healthcare is a huge part of it. I don't go to the dentist because dentist isn't covered. So I have to deal with my insurance through work. I do get benefits. I do get insurance. It's a pain in the ass. I fucking hate it. I can't imagine how fucking stressful it is to go to the hospital in America. I can't imagine how stressful it is, especially if you're going through something serious.
It's not too bad.
Well, all I know is that like people are struggling with this, and it's an issue, and it's not necessary. Really, at the end of the day, you're paying fucking insurance people. You're paying like people to get fucking rich, really. Because at the end of the day, what do you want? You just want healthcare. You just want to be fixed. That's it. You're not trying to take advantage of the system. You're sick. You want to be fixed. That's it. Universal healthcare. They take care of that shit. Canada, this is one thing I know the States doesn't do. We regulate our drug prices. The state spends over and lets the fucking pharmaceutical companies charge them insane amounts. We all know this. This isn't hidden information. This isn't. And when I talk to Americans, it's like, I'm not attacking you. I respect you as a person. I empathize with your struggle. I'm not going through it. I don't have to be you. It's like, Ray, I'm not a person of color, but I can empathize with you. Taylor, I'm not a Christian, but I can empathize with you with your struggle. You're Americans. I'm not American, but I can empathize. I hear the struggles. This is what it is. It's not right. It's just not Canada. So many other countries have it. And it's like, they're fine. And then we try to tell you guys, I feel like it's like Americans are in an abusive relationship and we're the neighbors and we care about you guys. We hear them hitting you. We hear them hitting you at night. We're concerned. We know. We hear
Ears on the wall.
You don't have to lie to us. You don't have to lie to us. We understand. We love you. Just You guys are getting screwed. It shouldn't even be a debate at this point. And this is what when you come at people with like whether you agree with it or not, I'm just like at least you can say, okay, hey Jimmy, I get what you're saying. I may or may not agree, but I get you. Because I'm not coming at you saying that you're wrong. I'm coming at you like I fucking feel for you. And this is such, to me, an unnecessary issue. You know what I mean? Like it's so easily fixed.
How is it paid for?
It's paid through our taxes. Just like roads. Like this is what I'm saying. Like roads get paid, public school gets paid. There's certain things that should be covered. For a society to be functional, people need to have their basics covered. Like we don't want to fuck around with roads. Like I want my road fucking fixed. That's what taxes are for. Not right. like you guys could take like 5-10% of the military budget, still have the strongest military in the world, cover universal health care because it actually costs the government more. It does because these when people aren't getting healthcare on a regular basis and they're like there's facts to back this up. Okay, like the point is if you're not like taking care of your healthcare, it does have more of a societal toll. Then it leads to higher incarceration rates because people get desperate, people get hopeless. If I lived in the States, I'm telling you right now, I don't know how I would fucking survive mentally. I'd be going fucking nuts. I have enough anxiety as it is. And I can't imagine having fucking healthcare debt. Like, I was a single dad paying fucking child support for years. Okay? I understand the fucking burdens, man. Life isn't goddamn easy. But having, like, healthcare debt on top of that shit, that would just, like that would put probably me over the edge. But that's just because I'm fucking spoiled because I have universal health care. So
I can dig that. I mean, I got
you guys should too. You guys should too.
They pay into my insurance.
But you have to have a job, right? And this is where part of it's hard too.
I can't sit on my butt. I got to pay rent. I got bills to pay, Wi-Fi, phone bill.
Of course.
If I want to enjoy those amenities.
I'm all about
$40 a check.
I'm all about everyone.
Wait, what? Say that again, Taylor.
About $40 a check.
Where?
Employer. Dude, most employers now you're free if it's just you.
Oh yeah, the insurance and shit.
Yeah. They'll do 100% of it's just you. If it's your family and shit, you pay like 40 to 60 a check.
Yeah.
See, how do you pay for yours? You get it taken out of your fucking wages. We all lose one, but the thing is, we're cutting out the middleman. You guys are paying for the middleman.
That's cool. It gives me full coverage and whatnot. I mean,
I get full coverage too.
I lose a finger, I go to the hospital. They take care of it. Yeah, either stitch my finger back on or give me a prosthetic or some shit like that. Give me rehabilitation. I mean, I might not be able to go back to work because I lost a finger, but my job pays me and shit.
But that's your job, though, right? What happens if you don't have a job?
Well, you better get a job. There's a lot of jobs here in the United States, and
okay, I'm not real. Listen, I'm all on the same page about. I've never collected EI. I'm all like, if you work, I'm all about that. Okay, but at the same time, going hard times, people don't want to leave their job because they're worried about the insurance. Like, think about it from a creative point of people being able to take risks and be like, that is hindered when your healthcare is tied to your employment. When the government takes care of the healthcare, it works better overall. No one is in need.
Nah, I don't want the government to be meddling into how I live my life. I mean, I understand that they there's a lot of regulations up there in Canada based on your healthcare and whatnot. There's certain things cigarettes, they're packaged a certain way. They're packaged much differently than they are here in the United States. Like,
yeah.
Up
And they're
there,
more expensive. Yeah, they're more
and they're
expensive.
yeah. Like they're basically telling you guys how to live your life because they're paying for your quality of life. They're paying for you to live longer.
Well, think about it from this way. If you're about taking responsibility for your life, what better way to, like, people get lung cancer from smoking, the government's gonna pay for it. Okay. So it's like, okay, fine. No one's stopping them from smoking. But if you're gonna smoke, then you're gonna fucking pay for it. Because that's an extra burden on the system.
Right.
That's like, if we have to like draw the line and make things fair, and like, I don't know, that seems pretty reasonable. No one's stopping them. Yeah, and the packaging is different, but if we can make cigarettes change the mentality of cigarettes, so maybe the next generation doesn't get appeal to it like ours did. Because I'm an ex-smoker. Right? When I was younger and growing up, smoking really wasn't that big of a deal. A lot of people did it. And that's how I got kind of drawn into it. And now, like, my son's age, like, not as many kids are smoking. And it's not as, like, cool. Like,
yeah,
kids are different these days, and they're smarter than us in a lot of ways. So,
not really.
But anyways, Canada's not like, no one's forcing us, like, this whole idea, like, they choose your doctor. No. Now, there are, like, areas that it's hard to get a doctor, like a family doctor. I'm not going to say it's easy for a lot of times, but no one forces you to go to whatever doctor. It's just wherever you can find. But if you get hurt, doesn't matter. Government takes care of it. Just like the government takes care of our roads, the government takes care of firefighters, police, other utilities that we need to function as a society. So
now,
Maybe it's little groupie in the chat.
Yeah, he came in as Kevin Brown. I was like, holy shit, who the fuck is this Kevin Brown dude? And then it dawns, and then I seen his little comment saying it was his alt. But hey, what's going on, Kev? What was I saying? All right, I had it in my brain. Oh my god, I had it in my fit. It's just that
we're gonna make a mating revolution. Check out defend sex. You don't have sex. You can't have sex. It's not desirable. The more you have sex, the more weaker you are in sex. I'm gonna be a sex god and fix mating. Like, I'm gonna make a maleism movement, and there's gonna be mating revolution and maleism. There's gonna be two separate movements. I know though. More. The mating revolution is for, like, males and females. It's gonna be like the male is like feminism. It's like the vulnerabilities of being a man. Like, think about the penis. It's weak. Like, it's soft. You can hurt it very easily. Like, after you ejaculate, you feel vulnerable. Like, does the woman trust me? Does the woman trust me? The woman, not trust me. Not trust me. Not hurt me. But the woman, what's the word? Is this woman's gonna stay with me? Does she care about me? After you ejaculate, you be very weak. You ejaculate, and I know people think they ejaculate, but you get very sad. You ejaculate. Is the woman gonna trust you, be with you for the rest of your life? Maleism and mating psychology. Mating revolution and maleism.